everyone, welcome back to Earl Grey Books. I'm Ali, and today I'm doing my June wrap up. I started June off really badly in terms of reading. I didn't finish my first book until the 13th, and it felt like I wasn't going to read anything else for the entire month, and then in the last few days I managed to somehow pull 4-5 books out of thin air. So let's just get started talking about them. I read 8 in total, no DNFs this month. So let's just get started. First one I read was Starfell, Willow Moss and the Lost Day by Dominique Valente. This is a children's book. I had a complete mental blank then. It's a little bit kind of like magical, mystical. It's fun. There's something in my eye. It made me laugh. It made me cry. It was just really sweet. As well, it has some gorgeous illustrations in there done by Sarah Warburton. Yeah, it was cute. I gave this one 4 stars. There's really something in my eye. I think it might just be my eyelashes. Yeah, this was really cute, and it's a little bit like How to Train Your Dragon in the way that it's written. I wasn't a huge fan of that series. I love the movies, but I wasn't a fan of the first book. But I really enjoyed this one. Next, I read a poetry collection from Kindle Unlimited. I'm having one of those days today, guys. It's called Warriors, and it's by, I'm going to say this wrong, I think it's Gurpreet Kaur. They sent me a message on Instagram asking if I would be interested looking at their book, and I did, and I read it and I really enjoyed it. It feels a lot like the poetry of Amanda Lovelace and Rupi Kaur, but I feel like the two of them can be quite dramatic sometimes in their poetry, and like I understand that, but I also enjoy poetry about small things too. So I really like this one. I gave this one 4 stars as well. The next one I read, this is where we start going into the ones that I just read like bang 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 bang. Percy's very unhappy because I moved him off the couch, so he's just walking past giving me like a stick eye. Anyway, this is It's Not Like It's a Secret by Missa Sugira. I'm not sure. I did look up how to say this name, and then I wrote it down somewhere so that I could say it properly, and now I've lost it, so I don't know where it is. I'm gonna find it in like a few months' time and be like, what is this? Anyway, gave this one 4 stars as well. Talked about this one a little bit in my book haul. This is a female romance. God, I can't talk today. I read a full length review of this one. Basically, I really enjoyed it, but I enjoyed the friendships in here a lot more than the romance. The romance was just kind of like not really there. It was kind of like glazed over a lot. So I think had it been more prominent, I would have enjoyed it, but I did really like the female friendships that we had in this book. I see you. I know what you're trying to do. Okay, so next one I read was A Girls with Sharp Sticks by Suzanne Young. This was another 4-star read. This one my best friend Angel bought for me back in March when I was in hospital, and I was in hospital again in June, very briefly, like just for a few hours. But I had this thing come up on my phone. I think it was from Simon Pulse that was like, what books should you read based on your... What are you doing? Yeah, it was based on your Myers-Briggs personality type. So I looked it up, and this was mine. I'm an INFP. He's gone crazy. So this was one of the books, and also Love from A to Z. Yeah, From A to Z, which is also a book I really want to read. I read it, like that kind of pushed me to read it as soon as I got home, and I loved it. It was incredible. Again, I have a full-length review of this one. I just like, this book made me just like feel like I could like go out and smash the patriarchy, which is what I really needed in that moment. Especially because some of the other books I've been reading lately have been very intense, so I just needed this one. This is intense, but it's also like, there's some hope in it. You'll see what I mean. Okay, so next, in fact, here's a book here that is very intense, why I needed something like Girls with Sharp Sticks. This is The Little Girl on the Eisler by Adelaide Bond. This is a memoir, and this is about Adelaide Bond's experience with sexual assault as a child. She grew up in a well-to-do-ish area of Paris, and one day she was walking by herself, and she was, I guess, I don't even know how to say it, she was sort of lured in by this stranger, and it follows from that moment sort of how her life pans out and how it affects her and the people around her, and then when she's an adult, she gets a call from the police saying that they've found the man, and it sort of goes to trial, and this is all on the front cover, so I'm not spoiling anything, but very intense, very emotional. Reminded me a lot of Eggshell Skull, which is one of my favorite books, but it was definitely a rough book. This is similar to Eggshell Skull in that it's not like there's no hope, there's no point, don't ever bother with anything, and you know, it's, yeah, oh gosh, it feels very empowering. Next one, this is the only like disappointing read that I had this month. That's Weekends with O'Keeffe by C.S. Merrill. I started reading this one back in like April. So it's about C.S. Merrill's experiences working for Georgia O'Keeffe. It's kind of a complicated book because it really made me respect Georgia O'Keeffe, and I learned a lot about her that you're not really going to find anywhere else. But at the same time, C.S. Merrill's writing is like, I'm going to say it's terrible. A lot of it just doesn't make any sense, and it's like, I know it's like a diary of her time, but it's also like no one thought to read through it before they published it. I just feel like maybe there were just a few things that maybe just like grammatical errors and spelling errors that could have just been fixed, and it would have been, you know, more enjoyable. Yeah, and also I kind of feel like she hero worshipped Georgia O'Keeffe, but also kind of like, she's also kind of critical of her and of the people around her, but you don't ever really get to know the people around her. So it's kind of very, it's like, this person is now in Georgia's life and I'm jealous and blah 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 blah, and I'm just like, I kind of don't care. Like, I just want to know what Georgia O'Keeffe is doing. Is she painting at this time? Like, what's she doing? Like, you know, while you're out here having a wine, what's Georgia O'Keeffe doing? That's what I want to know. So yeah, I feel like maybe this could have just been like marked different, like, oh, this is C.S. Merrill's life at this particular point, and also Georgia O'Keeffe is it. Percy, okay? Are we good? Are we relaxed? Anyway, so yeah, this one was 3.5 stars because I do respect Georgia O'Keeffe from this, but I don't know that I like C.S. Merrill. Okay. Next one, I had a library book that I had to return. This was one of the picks for the Stellar Project in June. We had 2 books. We had The Natural Way of Things by Charlotte Wood, which I read the year that it won the prize, and honestly I wasn't super fussed on it, so I didn't bother rereading it in June. But I did read, for the first time, Lorinda by Alice Pung. This is a YA novel, and I think there's only like 2 that I would classify as YA novels that have been nominated, selected, longlisted for the prize. So I find that very interesting. This was my first time reading anything by Alice Pung, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. It's about a girl going to she gets a scholarship into this elite all-girls private school. I went to private school, a co-ed one, but I could still kind of see it in Lorinda, which is the name of the school in the book. I could still sort of see things that I went through, things that just like this, I guess, the culture within the school of certain things. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And then my final book for June, I started reading this one earlier in June when I picked it up, and that is Ghosts of the Shadow Market by Cassandra Clare, Sarah Rees Brennan, Maureen Johnson, Kelly Link, and Robin Wasserman. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one, gave it 4 stars. I enjoy reading Cassandra Clare. This one was good. This is a bunch of short stories about the shadow market. I don't think I've ever read any of the Shadowhunters short stories before. The ones that have been released just aren't really ones that I care about. But I really like Gem, and also really like Kit. This is mostly Gem, but there was a little bit of Kit in there, and I was happy. I just love Kit. So yeah, this is probably the only short story collection in this world that I'm really interested in. So I'm glad that I read this one, and it was kind of a good way to round off the month. Okay. I started reading a few other books during the month. Like I said, I was just in a huge slump and I just couldn't get through things. And then I started one at the end of the month, which I finished in July. So you guys will hear about that in July. But for now, that was my wrap up. I'm hoping this has been relatively quick. I've made a promise to myself, today's the 4th of July, that I would be like super productive so that later on when Stranger Things comes out, which is in about 3.5 hours, not counting down, that I can just marathon that and I can not feel bad about the fact that I haven't done anything today. So step 1 was grocery shopping. Step 2, this video. Step 3, haven't really worked out what it is yet, but who knows. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in a few days' time. If you live in the US, I hope you had a fun and safe 4th of July. Everyone else, I hope you enjoyed 4th of July anyway. Like, I'm having a great time not being American and just celebrating it like I would celebrate any other day, which is by sleeping, eating, and reading. And yes, I will see you all in a few days' time, because I'll be doing my... Thank you. Yes, you're beautiful. I will be doing my owl's TBR. I really have something in my eye. Like, I swear there's something in there. Yes, no, not my owls. I'll be doing my newts TBR, and we'll see you all then. Thanks for watching. Bye.